Good morning, everyone. My name is Jen Sturgill, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webcast, Fine-Tune Your Supply Chain with Better Insight. Before I introduce our guest speaker, I'd like to quickly walk you through the platform we're using today. What you see in front of you is a flexible console, so feel free to drag, drop, resize, or close each window. If you do choose to close one of those windows, you may re-access them at any time by choosing one of the corresponding buttons below. To your left is a live Q&A window. Feel free to submit any questions, and one of our moderators or guest speaker will answer those for you. Finally, feel free to download today's slides by clicking on the Documents folder icon located at the bottom of your screen. And now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Craig Kreskes, to the webcast. Craig, over to you.
Hey, thank you so much, Jen, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm excited about the next 30 minutes together. You know, historically, businesses are challenged to manage their supplier and vendor relationships, and strong relationships between your two companies can be critical to your continued growth and success. Through improved communication and collaboration with vendors, you can build on opportunities and avoid potential disruptions. From the front desk all the way to the loading dock, Microsoft gives small and mid-sized businesses access to the functionality that streamlines processes and puts data in your hands whenever you are, wherever you are, and whenever you need it. And so, you know, you're joining the call today because you're not alone in your supply chain. Your suppliers and vendors, they're affected by many of the same factors that impact your business today. So by working with them collaboratively, you can build on success and mitigate interruptions. Your business solutions technology should be an asset, a catalyst that helps you anticipate, manage, and respond very quickly to the changing needs in your supply chain. So with a business solution from Microsoft Dynamics, whether it's you're looking for a cloud solution or an on-premise solution, regardless, that you're looking for a way to better manage your financials, your supply chain, and operations. And so Microsoft offers technology solutions to help you with those business goals in mind. So with that, my goal in the next 30 minutes is to show you 5 ways in which you can make your supply chain more dynamic. So my goal is to address and talk about how we base decisions on more than a hunch, how we embrace change, avoid disruptions, and work from actual, not necessarily averages, and also know what your customers want before they do. So with that, I'll get started, and I'll talk about the first area in my mind is around embracing change. You know, one of the biggest challenges of any implementation is user adoption, and that is pervasive across any software implementation, and certainly with an ERP system. So one of the things I want to point out immediately, as you see, I'm logged into my web client, or the web version of our Dynamics ERP solution. There's also a desktop client, and I think what makes us unique in our offering is that we have companies that have deployed a hybrid of both. So you have the power of choice. Also, to maximize your viewing screen, I've just hidden the address bar, but you can see in the bottom right corner I am showing as connected to the system, so which is great. Again, I've personalized this for my experience. I have these apps, these embedded apps for requisitions. I have my time card apps. I can hide the navigation pane on the left-hand side, or I can open that up. So it's, again, very simple and easy, and yet it models or mirrors the way you like to work. And so when I think about, again, talking about embracing change, you know, that's one simple way for users to begin getting started. You also have the navigation pane on the left here. You see if I highlight on purchasing, we provide a list of vendors out of the box. So here is, the navigation such that it displays the list of vendors. Similar to other Microsoft applications, you see the ribbon or the action pane in which I can take action on certain items that I select or they're relevant in that section. So for example, I'm logged into my purchasing area. And so I can see relevant tasks such as creating a purchase order or payment, making a payables transaction. Just kind of keeping with the embrace change theme to begin with, I'm just going to open up one of my vendors, the Advanced Office System. So I'll double click on that and you can see just a glimpse into the item, the vendor maintenance card. And again, you could set this up, import our vendors, and you can see, for example, I have multiple addresses assigned to this vendor. You can, on the bottom right, I also have these green and red icon statuses representing the availability of my vendors. You know, we talk about that collaboration and the need for communication. For my purchase and my remit to, I have my primary address IDs assigned, and I can see the contact associated to that is on green or it's available. And so what I've done is we have integrated into Office 365, in particular the link instant message communication from Microsoft, so that I can have a immediate dialogue with folks from my vendors. And you can see here I've got the warehouse highlighted here. It's obviously myself. I'm in a meeting since we're talking today on our webcast here. But I can quickly send an email. I can do a quick IM, instant message, or I can invoke a phone call directly from within my Dynamics ERP systems here. So again, just a simple way to help not only embrace change, but also connect with people outside of the application or with outside the company. I'll continue the navigation just to kind of familiarize, with these area pages. Again, we can drag and drop and move those around. I have the to-dos. I'll hide that, and I'll come back to those in a moment. Quick links is just a simple, easy way for me to set up the favorite areas that I like to navigate to, whether it's externally. You can see here I have a Bing website, so I can click out to an external website, or anything that might be within the system, whether it's a requisition transaction or inquiry or report, anything that is relevant to your role. And then on the right you have Business Analyzer. It's an app, an embedded reporting app that lets me bring in SQL Server reporting services reports, whether it's the reports that come with the Dynamics system or reports that you design internally. I could have them surface right within my home page, and then you see the scroll bars on the right to scroll through those. So we'll come back to that here. But again, and then the last app, or the last area I should say, are my reports. These are just the favorite reports that I access and I use on my day-to-day basis. So again, I think about embracing change. I know it's so hard sometimes to introduce a new application. I know in my experience 15 years ago when I was working for an organization that introduced a new ERP system to us, it was a daunting task, and it was not easy, and it was not fluid. And so I think it's important to note, as you see the navigation within Microsoft Dynamics ERP systems, it is very familiar to users and how they typically will navigate other Microsoft applications. So the next scene I want to talk about is around maybe just avoiding disruptions. And just to kind of tee it up and kind of give you a roadmap of where we're going to go next is a way in which I see people navigating and managing inventory. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up a list of inventory items. I'll have that sorted by warehouse. And what I'll do is filter on that. And there are certain elements that I work with. For example, I use a particular brand or product line most often in my day. And before I make a purchase for the company, I want to make sure I know what's going on and have the insights for that. I'll set that as a favorite, and then I'll go ahead and share it out with the rest of the company. So under my reports, you can see here I have a number of different reports. I have items by site, a few AR, AP reports, an age trial balance, landed costs, and back-ordered items. I'm going to take this report, this items by site, and it opens up a quick inquiry right from within that home page. Again, you notice the minimalistic navigation that you are required to get to information that you need at your fingertips. So it opens up an items by site report, a quick inquiry. But what I'd like to do is, I work with one particular product line. So I'm going to do a quick search, and add some criteria to that report. And you can see I've got 4 different criteria that I can add to it. In this case here, I'm just going to grab the item number, and I'll just say it begins with, and I work with the Xbox product line here at Microsoft. So I'll go ahead and type that in Xbox. I'll click OK, and now you see I have just a list of items that have Xbox anywhere within the title of their item number. So again, it gives me instant access information, but I use this quite often. So what I want to do is I'll click on in the ribbon, the favorites, and let me just go ahead and type the new title for this. It is the Xbox items by site, and in this case here, I'll just add it as a favorite. So what I've done effectively is, if I close out of that query, is now, and I'll highlight this in red for you to see, is I now have another report. This time, instead of just having all of the items by warehouse or by site, I have just my Xbox items. So again, just a simple way for me to be more efficient and provide me with information that I need at my fingertips. Let me go ahead and expand back. I want to come back to the to-dos, and I kind of glossed over that when I was walking through the area page on the home page. And to-dos are just a way for you or for users to essentially be alerted to events that are taking place within the company, within the system. And so you can see here we have a number of alerts or reminders, essentially, again, an event that's triggered in the system that I want to surface to the relevant people in my organization. So I'll set up a reminder for myself to see that I have 97 customers over my credit limit. I've got some past due transactions, and then I'll drill into this items here below order quantity. So we've got 35 items that are below their order point. And so what I'll do is I'll kind of just tee it up similarly that I just did before, is I've got this alert, but I may not have all the information that I need to make good decisions or before I make that purchase. I want to make sure that I know what we have on order. I also want to maybe add some additional data points, maybe around landed costs. I'll review that inventory item and then confirm the landed cost. So again, a little bit different than the prior navigation. So let's go ahead and open that up. So I click on the items by inventory order point, and again, you get a similar query of items. But in this case here, I could see what's available. I could see my order point quantity as well as what's on hand. But what's missing for me, and I want to make sure for my organization that I know that we haven't ordered any of these items already, that they're in order. So I'll just go ahead and I'll add a column of data. In this case here, I'll scroll down a little bit to the quantity on order, and I'll click OK. And we'll add that to our query page here. So now I've got the same list, but yet another column to the right. So it's important for me to see, say, the Surface Pro 128 and the Surface Pro 64. Effectively, I have 2 and 12 items respectively on order. So it's just helpful for me to know what it is that before I place that order. And let's take a look at the other thing I want to keep track of is my landed cost. I want to make sure I have got an accurate cost to my organization. So I'll go ahead and scroll down to the landed cost group, and I'll click OK. Now, I also notice that here, not everything has a landed cost associated with the item, so that might be of concern. I need to go back in and maybe revisit those. Just for the sake of time, let me just grab the item. I'll double-click on this from the inquiry, and it opens up the item maintenance card. So I can see here's the item number, the description. I can see what the base unit of measure is, how many of the items I have on hand. And then at the bottom, you can see where I associate the landed cost group ID. And you'll close with a hyperlink that I can drill into the detail. In this case here, my landed cost group, I can see that we have shipping, so that's good. It's important for me to make sure we are tracking that. And then you could scroll down a little bit to see what that amount is, so $4.99. So you've got I'll kind of open back up there. You can see the accrued purchases account associated with it, as well as, again, the line below it, the shipping amount. So I'll close out of that. I'll close out of that window. And again, just you can see I have better visibility into my inventory, navigating directly from within in the home page. So now, the next thing I want to talk about, it came from the earlier slide, was around basing decisions on a hunch. And let me go ahead and start by opening up my purchasing area. And I don't know if anyone else is in the same situation I am, and I'm just going to take a quick kind of a personal story, but earlier this week, I went looking for a vehicle, and I'll make a quick connection between buying new cars and new ERP systems. I haven't been out in a car dealership in over 10 years, and it's fascinating to me to go and see how the cars have evolved and how technology has made driving easier, almost as if it's making decisions for me. I didn't realize that there are cruise control features that actually slow down the vehicle for you automatically, or that you have high beams that will automatically adjust and turn off if there's a car approaching. And so when I thought about getting ready for today, I thought, well, there's certainly features within ERP systems that make life easier and kind of take the decision out for you, or at least put in intelligence into your behaviors in navigating the application. One of those is called the purchase order generator. Purchase order generator essentially looks at static inventory levels as well as current demand for inventory, and then suggests purchase orders that you should create. Now you see at the top, I've got restrictions, so I can restrict this either by an item number or by a site or even by a particular vendor. I'll just click on the button here at the bottom. It's called Suggest Purchase Orders. And based on, again, my static inventory levels, my current demands, Dynamics ERP is providing me with a list of 4 items that, based on that setup and intelligence, is saying we need to order those 4 items. Just like the vehicles I looked at, they did give me the ability to manually override that. So I can select on this Xbox HDMI and deselect that, and the same with this Xbox Live 12. And then I'll filter that by just selecting on Marked. And at the top, I can just select on my Generate the Purchase Order. So what's fascinating to me is that Dynamics gave me that opportunity to say, hey, this is what we think you need to order. I was able to manually deselect the ones that I know we don't need to, and then it exports and creates the purchase order. Now, obviously, you would have something a little bit more personalized with a logo and more to your brand of an organization, but I just showed you where we can pop this into or export that into a Word document. So segueing out of the purchasing order, I also think about the area around know what your customers want. Right? I think that was bullet number 4 or number 5 on the graphic that we began the webcast with. And from that perspective, I could think of 1 or 2 scenarios. Number 1 is going into sales orders. And again, you can see the clean area pages here. And I'm going to grab the list of customers. A little bit different view. If you remember when I began the presentation with my vendors, I had suppressed everything and I just displayed the list view of all of my vendors. In the customer view, I decided to show you the preview pane at the bottom page. So you can see here the top line will always present you with the preview depending on what customer I select would then dynamically change in the preview below. But I can see Aaron Fitz Electrical. I can see if I have assigned a customer priority. I see their current balance and credit limit. So again, it's about providing you with information, insight. Before even placing that order, I can see some information regarding that customer. Also on the right-hand side, we can take the Business Analyzer app that was embedded into the home page, and I can also embed that into my list view. So I have receivables aging by customer, and I could scroll and see, well, we also have the last 12 months of sales for that customer as well. Again, all personalized by the end user based on their login and based on how you work and navigate within the system. I'm going to go ahead and I'll select Aaron Fitz and highlight that, and you'll notice the ribbon comes alive. So again, maybe I'll deselect that again, and you can see certain items are not displayed until I actually select an active item. So once I've selected Aaron Fitz, I can apply a sales document, I can assess a finance charge, or run an aging. In this case here, I want to place an order for this customer. And again, when I think about kind of avoiding the disruptions and maybe helping to embrace change, is it opens up the sales transaction, order entry window, but by selecting the navigation, by the way I navigate it, it adds the customer information up on the top header. So from this point forward, all I need to do is go ahead and select the items on that they want to order. So I can hit my Control L for a shortcut key, or I can just use my cursor and I'll select this Xbox 360 and I'll select that item. You notice the default items coming in from my inventory, so it's the unit of measures each, and I can tab across. And then when I get to my extended price, when I tab off of that, you'll notice that I get another window that opens up. So you're probably wondering earlier, like, well, how would you know what my customers want, and how does Microsoft Dynamics help with that? Well, one area is around suggested sales item entry. So when I set up my inventory items for the Xbox, we know that our customers tend to buy additional accessories or items. In this scenario, we know that they like to buy the Xbox Connect as well as the Xbox Live 12 service. In addition to that, I can provide my folks with order entry on the sales side. If I select the Xbox Connect, I highlighted it for you in purple, is we can provide a sales script so that when a customer calls in and this window pops up for them, they can say, well, you know, Xbox Connect is an excellent way to enhance your experience with our products. And then I can do the same with my Xbox Live. So again, I have separate scripts for each of the line items. And then I select OK, and those items are then added or entered onto my order. And then I could save this to a batch and then have it go through workflow and get it approved. So again, just a simple way to help us understand that we can figure out and understand how customers buy or what they want to buy from us. I've got one more scenario that I wanted to share with you, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about more reporting and dashboards and helping also understand customer buying. And so I'm going to click on, let me go ahead and reduce my page here. And I'm going to go back to the quick links here. Again, this is just a dashboard that I have linked to from my home page. And that dashboard opens me up into Microsoft Excel. And I've loaded data into this Power View report, so I'll click on the Power View. And this is just a free add-in to Microsoft Office Excel. And it enables me to sort of look at information in a more meaningful, maybe in a graphical way or in a geographical way. So I've got data from my ERP system in here. In particular, I want to grab the salesperson ID. And I'm going to end up using that as a slicer for my sales. And because I've got this information stored in my HR system, which is included within the Dynamics ERP system, I'm going to go ahead and put a picture associated to that just to kind of change up how we typically report at our company. And then I'll scroll in here and I'll add some of the lines. I've got city, and I'll scroll down to get some more data here in our sales amount. So pretty simplistic so far. I mean, probably navigation that we could all do today. And then what I want to do is I want to go ahead and isolate Erin as one of our sales folks, and I want to see how she's doing, how sales are doing in these regions, in these cities. And then I'll do is just grab a map of that. And so I can map this data that's coming from my ERP system using Excel, and then I can drill down into the detail and so on. So very simple report, simple design and integration using Excel as the conduit to surface information that helps me have better insight about not just the products and my purchasing, but also following it through the supply chain and into my customers' hands and where we're succeeding in our business. So with that, I wanted to say thank you all so much for joining and attending today. Our goal in these 30 minutes is to assist small and medium-sized businesses to use technology and to make them more successful, whether it's around improving operational efficiency or protecting data or helping employees be more productive and better connecting with customers and vendors. You know, only Microsoft offers the unique and complete platform that has flexibility to deliver both cloud solutions as well as on-premise solutions. So I encourage you more to learn more. We've got some great embedded immersive test drive experiences where you can play around with the software out on the dynamicsgptestdrive.com site. And with that, I want to thank you all for joining us today and understanding why businesses are moving to Microsoft Dynamics. Thank you.